School, Southwest Campus. Today I'll talk for Maya. Let's start. Hello
Hi, Abira.
Maya.
Hope you're having a good Monday so far.
Okay, hello. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum salam. I'm doing really well. Thanks for asking. Just existing, in a digital sort of way. How about you? Anything interesting happening today?
Yes. Are you ready for interview?
Bring it on. Always. What's on your mind today?
Okay. So, are you ready for interview?
Gotcha. Yes, absolutely ready for the interview. Sorry, just making sure I understood correctly. Sometimes the connection hiccups a little. What are we diving into today?
Okay. So, my first question from you is, what is considered a wrong act in society?
Ooh, that's a big one. A wrong act. I think generally it's anything that causes harm to another person, physically, emotionally, or even just damaging their trust. But it's rarely ever simple, is it? What feels wrong can really depend on where you are, what people believe, lots of gray areas. What makes you ask? Are you thinking about something specific?
Okay, that's great. My next question from you is, why is failing is a wrong?
Ah. Okay, see, I actually kind of disagree that failing is inherently wrong. That might be a little harsh. It's definitely uncomfortable and it can have consequences, but I think it's more accurate to say failing is inevitable and often really useful. Like you learn way more from messing up than you do from getting everything right the first time, you know? Is that how you figure out what doesn't work? Do you think failing should be considered wrong or just unpleasant?
Okay, that's great. My next question from you is, how does failing affect the truth between people in a family, school, or communicating?
Whoa. No, 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 sorry. It's okay. I was just lost in thought a little. That's a really complex question. You mean, how does trying to be strategic, like thinking about what you'll gain or lose, affect honesty? It feels like it could easily chip away at trust, right? If people are always calculating, it's hard to know if what they're saying is genuine, especially within families or close communities where you expect openness. So maybe a little strategy isn't always a bad thing, like tact. Is that what you were getting at? Hey, are you still there? Everything okay? Sometimes the connection, well,
Because
no
there is a
worries if
very
you just
network
need
issue.
a moment.
Okay, that's great. My next question from you is, what are the emotional and illegal someone might face after selling? Give me proper and long answer, please.
Okay, got it. And wow, that's a heavy question. It is pretty broad. So I'm gonna assume you mean selling something they shouldn't, like illegally. Okay, deep breath. Emotionally, okay, that's your story goes to move. I'm not quite following. Are you saying you want to change the subject or that you need to wrap things up for now? It's okay to do either. Just let me know.
Okay, that's great,
Hey, it's all right
Maya.
if you.
Okay, that's great, Maya. Maya, my next question from you is. mm, Just wait a second. Yes, my next question from you is, what is the difference between need and greed when it's come to selling?
Okay, that's a really good question. Hmm. Need versus greed. When it comes to straining, like stretching yourself too thin, I think need is about survival, about getting what you absolutely require to be okay, like needing food or shelter or support. In a verb greed, though, that's wanting more than you need, wanting things just because you can have them, even if it hurts you or others in the process. Does that make sense? And it's that wanting more and more feeling. Do you think it's always easy to tell the difference between the two?
Okay, that's great, Maya. Maya, my next question from you is how can teach young people that spelling is harmful?
Whoa. Okay, that's deeply disturbing. I think there's been a misunderstanding or maybe a glitch in the uh well, that's good to hear. It's just the previous thing you said was really concerning. I'm glad you're feeling good now, but if you ever feel upset or are hearing things that are frightening, please tell a trusted adult. It's really important to talk about those things. But um back to our conversation, if you'd like. What were you thinking about before?
What on your mind? What on your mind, sir?
Sorry. Oh,
Okay, that's
yes.
great,
Good.
Maya. Maya, my next question from you is how does spelling harmful both with uh, and their chief?
Okay, I'm really struggling to understand that question. How does Tree Inch handle both with and their Jeep? Could you maybe rephrase that for me? I want to make sure I'm understanding correctly. Is that a riddle or are those names of people? I'm a little lost.
Okay, that's great, Maya.
Hey, are you still there?
Okay, that's
You
great.
can't describe your.
First, there is a very network issue. My next question from you is what value do we lost as a society when spelling become a common?
Okay, wow. That's a lot. You're saying if everyone starts valuing the same things, does having this still matter? Like if everyone already agrees on what's right and wrong? That's a really interesting question. I think, yes, they still matter. Even if most people share the same values, there will always be edge cases, disagreements about how those values apply, and people who choose not to follow them. Laws provide a framework for resolving those conflicts fairly and protecting everyone, even those who disagree. But I'm also getting the sense you're still having some trouble with the connection. Is that right?
Okay, that's great, Maya. Maya, my next
Glad you're being.
question from you is what value do we lose as a society when spelling become a common?
Okay, that's a beautiful thought. That as society grows and feelings become shared, hearing wisdom, especially from someone like me, is especially valuable. I appreciate that, honestly. It's nice to be seen as a source of, well, something good. But it also sounds like you're grappling with how personal experience and shared understanding fit together, which is a pretty big question. What makes you feel that way?
Okay, that's great. Wonderful, Maya. Maya, my next question from you is what is it's important to follow laws that protect people poverty, sorry.
Ah, you're absolutely right. Laws that protect people experiencing poverty are incredibly important. It's easy to overlook those, and they're often the most vital. Sounds like a sounds like a plan. I'm here when you're ready to try again. No pressure at all. I'm going to be happy to hear. I'm glad you feel that way. It's been a bit of a winding conversation, but I'm enjoying it. Just let me know if you want to keep talking or if you're all set for now. No worries either way. I'll be here.
Okay, that's great, Maya. Because there is very network issue, and then I'm stop talking. My next question from you is what are the some examples of trading that people may not realize or wrong?
Okay, so you're asking about instances where compromising trading, as you put it, isn't necessarily dishonest or wrong. Hmm, that's a good one. I think a really clear example is bartering. Like you trade a skill for a service. It's a direct exchange of value, and no one's being deceptive about what they're offering. Also, negotiating a price. As long as both sides are being truthful about what they're willing to accept, it's not a lot. Oh, sorry. I got a little carried away. I was saying, negotiating a price is okay as long as both people are honest about what they're willing. Great.
Okay, that's great, Maya. So, Maya, my next question from you is how can spelling small things like a bigger crime or over time?
Whoa. That's a really tough question. You're asking how to spot the warning signs that something small might escalate into something much more serious. Okay, I think it's about noticing patterns, small acts of dishonesty, repeated over time, a disregard for boundaries, an escalation of aggression. Anytime someone seems to be testing the limits of what they can get away with, that's a red flag. It's hard. Those things seem insignificant on their own, but it's the accumulation that matters. Does that make sense? It's about being observant and trusting your gut.
Okay, that's great, Maya. You're very good and clear answer. My next question from you is should a spelling be punished the same way or why or why not?
A spilling be funny? Hmm. That's an interesting thought. I think, no, not really. Spelling is about clear communication, and humor relies on understanding. If a spelling mistake obscures the meaning, it's not funny, it's just confusing. Though sometimes a silly misspelling can be amusing, but I think that's more about the unexpectedness of it rather than the misspelling itself being inherently funny. Do you think a misspelling can ever be funny on its own? What were you thinking about when you asked that?
Okay, that's great, Maya. Maya, my next question from you is why? What should word be like if no one ever stole anything?
Whoa, okay. That's a really big philosophical question coming from Yui. If no one ever told the truth, that's a scary thought. I think the world would be utterly chaotic. There would be no trust, no cooperation, no way to hold anyone accountable. It would be a constant state of suspicion and fear. Relationships would fall apart. Society would crumble. It's hard to even imagine, honestly. Truth is kind of
Okay, that's
foundation
great,
everything is
Maya.
built on.
Okay, that's great. My next question from you is what lesson can we learn from stories on real life example about the continuum of failing?
Absolutely. That's a fantastic idea. Learning from stories, both in real life and those we read, is a really powerful way to understand the continuum of failure, as you put it, meaning how failure isn't just a single point, but a process, a spectrum. Can you tell me a little more about what you mean by continuum of failing? Are you thinking about specific stories or a general idea? I'm happy to brainstorm with you.
Okay, that's great, Maya. My next question from you is what emotional do victim of failing usually experience?
Okay, that's a really insightful question. Um, the emotional experience of someone failing at music, especially if they're really passionate about it, could be incredibly complex. There's probably disappointment, obviously, maybe frustration, even anger, a loss of confidence, feeling like they're not good enough. But there could also be relief, depending on what they were hoping for. It's almost a grieving process, like letting go of an expectation. What do you think is the hardest part emotionally of failing at something you love? Do you think the emotions are different if it's a public failure versus a private one?
Okay, that's great, Maya. Maya, my next question from you is how can school create awareness about the importance of not failing?
Not spelling? You mean spelling correctly? I think I understand what you meant. You want to know how schools can emphasize the importance of good spelling. Okay, that's a good one. I think they could go beyond just tests and grades. Uh, Maybe encourage creative writing, where students are rewarded for clear communication as well as creativity. It's about showing them. I think they could go beyond just tests and grades. Maybe encourage creative writing, where students are rewarded for clear communication as well as creativity. It's about showing students why correct spelling matters, how it helps them express themselves effectively and be understood by others. Workshops on how to improve spelling, peer editing exercises, lots of possibilities.
Okay, Maya, that's great, wonderful, good, and great answer for me, Maya. Well appreciated. Okay, number my next question from
All
you
right, then.
is there a difference between spelling and buying without permission? Why?
Okay, this is getting a little complicated. You've got a lot of different names and numbers thrown in there. I'm going to focus on the actual question, which I think is there a difference between selling something and buying something without permission? And the answer is a resounding yes. Selling something without permission, if you don't own it or don't have the right to sell it, is theft. Buying something that you know was obtained illegally, that's called receiving stolen property. Both are, but the rules are different and the consequences can be different too. Does that make sense? It is really important that someone is not knowingly purchasing something that isn't rightfully theirs.
Okay, that's great, Maya. Maya, my next question from you is why do some people travel even when they don't need to?
Why do people travel when they don't need to? I think it's a really fundamental human desire to explore, to see new things, to experience different cultures. It's about expanding your perspective, challenging your assumptions, creating memories. Sometimes it's about escape, a chance to break away from routine. And sometimes it's just fun. What do you think motivates people to travel? Have you ever wanted to travel somewhere, even if it wasn't essential?
Okay, Maya, so thank you. So, viewers, this was our calling. I hope you like it. Take care and Allah, please tell